All right, we are back. Let's get this a little tinier now that I'm not pairing. Save us some screen real estate. All right, yeah, so I just got off another live stream about 30 minutes ago, PR'd that new bit into Laravel. We were working on, well, it's probably easier just to go to Twitter. We were working on this kind of dreamy collection pipelining thing where we could add, a catch straight onto like the collection chain. So I thought that was pretty cool. We'll see what people think. Sometimes stuff like that's a mixed bag. Some people are really against, doing all the things with collections. So we'll figure it out. But yeah. Anyway, that is submitted. Actually, had to resubmit it, put it on the wrong branch. So it's out there now with some new stuff. So we'll see. Like I said, if not, Frake was actually helping with this. He kind of did the initial work on it, and then we paired up and did some other live streams with that. So again, you might have been watching those. So thank you if you were, and now you're back again. So let's switch gears now. Let's go to Blueprint and not the docs, but the actual project. And I didn't do anything last week because I actually had some good community support. My miles or my benchmark is basically like pull requests down to like one, ideally just mine, and then issues maybe under 10, and ideally things that are just enhancements or whatever, no bugs. So to that point, since last week I didn't do anything, and since then we definitely got a few bugs in here. And that's what I want to kind of work on today. So I want to try to squash a majority of these bugs. So at least these top three, these came in fresh. This one has been out here for a little while, and I want to revisit it, but probably won't get to it on the live stream. It's a little more involved in fairness, and I think it actually relates pretty well to some of these other ones too. So to that point, let's just kind of work down the line here. So hopefully everybody's seeing and hearing me okay. I see we got a couple people on the stream. Hey Adrian, yeah. So hopefully everybody can see me and hear me okay. Let me know in their chat, and I will get started. Okay, so someone had reported that when they update the models, or run this, it doesn't produce the correct validate statements. But what's interesting is that the draft they provided, they didn't, this wouldn't generate any validate statements. So I was a little confused on kind of what they were defining in their validate statement. They actually opened a PR for this um, with no description, just a link to what it fixed, which is cool. But again, like I talked about in the previous live stream, when I was submitting my own PR to an open source project, the Laravel framework, you really want to put something here, even if it is just kind of a quick restatement of the problem, or a demonstration of what code you added and how it works now, um, or even just like a hey, this describe like why your fix works, right? Because I'm always going to go and look at this, but two things kind of wrong with this, and the reason I didn't merge this is there's kind of no indication here of like how this works, and they didn't update any test case. So again, I think this is probably okay, but I just don't know. So to that point, let's get this merged and fixed, and then we do two things: we get rid of a pull request, and we also get rid of an issue. So it's a double win. So let's check out these command line instructions, and let's pull this down and just kind of, again, inspect this code more closely. So we'll pull this down. That is merging because there's probably more stuff on master since then. That's okay. What I care most about is vendor bin PHP unit and run. Okay, so all tests pass. And again, without the description and whatever, it's a little hard to understand, but here's my take on what happened. especially with this certificate store, we can kind of backtrace it from here. I think what's happening is we had a new PR a while ago, and there's actually two issues open for this. And basically what we allowed, oh, I'm still in the framework. Let's get on Blueprint. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's open, or let's find where, whoops, where we're referencing this fixture and just kind of better understand and backtrace. Come on. Okay, so this uses what? This uses model reference validate YAML. Okay, so let's open that. Okay, yeah, exactly. That's what I was trying to say. Sorry. When you use a resource API, we automatically, Blueprint automatically builds out what this should look like. And it does this in the controller Lexer. And there's been a lot of activity on this, so I think that's why a lot of these bugs are relating to it. But the point I want to make is right here. So basically, when you say API, you effectively get this. It's a shorthand for all of that code, of course, in YAML format, not a PHP array. So you get all that. You get, most notably, an API store validate and then the name, which is certificate. And that links back to the model to then determine what the fields are. It's all a lot of magic, all a lot of awesome. Again, the whole premise and core goal of Blueprint is just rapid development, super speed, expressive syntax. Just if you gotta type more Blueprint than you would Laravel code, I've lost. We've lost. So that's not what we want. So again, this resource API is super handy, but it comes with some nuance. You kind of have to understand the defaults that you're getting. And so again, there's been a lot of activity to this, and I guess the ultimate problem, long story short, is that singular validate bit that's happening here got updated, but it's not really honoring the model properties, in this case, nullable. So what they were talking about here is that in remarks, they're getting a string, or sorry, they're getting required string for the validation rules in the form request. But they defined, if we go back to the PR, they defined it to be nullable. So it shouldn't necessarily be a required field by default. That's what this is fixing. I feel good about this now. There actually was no need for a test upon closer inspection because there was an existing test with this reference YAML that was demonstrating the problem. So it was all passing, it was all good, but technically it was incorrect because remarks, in this case, should have been a nullable field. And we can go and look at that right here, remarks nullable. So that should not be required. If it is there, it should be validated as a string, but it should be allowed to be nullable based on the model definition and the auto magic of resource API. So excellent boundary case. Good catch here by Mix, we'll call it. And so we'll merge it. So let's get that merged in, and let's say something like, sometimes I like to clean this up just a bit. So we'll say something along the lines of, let's see, fix, or let's see, don't require nullable fields for validation shorthand. How about that? Model validation shorthand. It's a little techy, but I think it's better than fixes 258, whatever. Okay, we'll merge that, and there we go. Cool. One of those down. Let's keep looking at the, oops. Oh, see, again, because the PR description did not have the fixes or closes in it, this actually didn't get auto-closed. So I'm going to close that. And there we go. Cool. So let's go back to the issues and what's next. So I remember this one. We actually resolved this over kind of over the chat here on the communication, or sorry, on the comments. But I do think this is something that maybe, again, a better error message they were kind of saying. So the problem is that they wrote originally, looks like they didn't include it. or I think they included it as a gist. Yeah, here we go. So they used YAML, I guess true YAML syntax or traditional YAML syntax. I don't really know. It's all YAML, but this is another way in which you can write each of the list items in YAML. So I don't know if I want Blueprint to support this or not. Again, Blueprint's all about verbosity, or sorry, it's all about streamline things so you don't have to be extra verbose. YAML's already a little gross, so I don't want to have people be required to put the dashes, but maybe they should be supported if that's the way you want to write YAML. So I think that's what this bug is about. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to make a real quick version of this. So let's do git checkout master, git pull, get that latest PR we just merged. Let's run all the tests to make sure everything's good. It is. And what we're going to do is, I'm going to close the chat for a second. We are going to go into fixtures and let's go into the drafts. Yeah, there they are, drafts. Been a little while since I worked on Blueprint. And let's just get this README example. And let's do README example. I'm just going to call it dashes. And let's just do like a really... See, do you do this? Like, is this valid YAML? I don't know. I don't know what's like... I don't know what's valid and not, but can you do dashes all the way down? Is that how it works? And just not top level? I don't even know. Honestly, I don't write enough YAML. Uh, you know what? I know GitHub uses it, and that's kind of what I modeled all this off of, so let's just go check something out real quick. Let's go to code, GitHub, workflows, build. Yeah, see, they don't do the dashes here. They do them down here, though. That's interesting. See, so I don't really know when they're required, which is why I kind of never used them. I'm assuming this is probably valid YAML. We're going to test that here in a second, but again, I don't know why you would want to write Blueprint your draft files this way. Like, why prefix every line with a dash? But again, whatever. Let's just test this out. Worst, simplest form, we're gonna have a better validation error message. So let's just see if this is even legit. First of all, technically that's valid YAML. It parses it in like a really funky way, but let's test another linter. No errors. It says it's valid. I'm hearing some chat. Let's see what people say. It's more like an array syntax. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why you would willingly write more of a draft file than is necessary, but technically it's valid. Let's see what I want to see what Blueprint does with it. If nothing else, we'll use this as an example to drive out a better error message. So we got this with the dashes. Let's go to, where are the Blueprint? Where's just like the regular, oh, that's all fixtures, sorry. There we go, Blueprint test. It parses controllers, it parses seeders, it parses models, it parses shorthands, it parses blah, 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 longhands, resources, look at all this stuff. Parses the README example, beautiful. Different platform EOLs, awesome. It throws a custom error when parsing fails. Ooh, interesting, okay. Okay. So I think, let's do this. Let's just copy this for a second. And let's say it parses dashed YAML. Move this up. I'm just moving it up because I kind of like all my quote unquote happy paths before we start hitting the error paths or sad paths. So let's change this to, what do we call that? README. Let's just copy it. readme dashes YAML. Cool. Let's just kind of see what this does. I'm just going to lock it down to that. And we'll say filter. Okay, it explodes. Failed asserting that. Okay, so we don't want an exception anymore. That's of course fine. Let's parse this and we'll get the actual result back. And for now, we'll just dump it. Whoops. Let's just see what happens. Okay. Okay, I see what's going on here. The dashes, when you use dashes, you lose, okay, you lose the top level prefixing. So let's just do this real quick. Just to demonstrate the difference, since these are pretty much exactly the same. I see what you mean in the chat now. Yoast, let's see here. I want to copy this, and let's just make it the README example. And let's dump this. I think I see what you mean about the, it's the array syntax, because like everything's getting nested in an array now. Yeah, see, look at this. You get a much tighter syntax. So technically this is valid, but it doesn't give us the tree or the tokens that we expect back from once we start lexing this. So see how these are deeper than just the top level. So technically this is not a parse error. So what do we want to do here? We kind of need to support the dashes. Again, it's not recommended. It's not what you should be writing. It's extra code, but it's technically valid YAML. The parser is parsing it, but it doesn't like it downstream. So I think the parser needs to do a little bit better of a job to give us the expected tree. It needs to kind of normalize the tree, if you will, which should be pretty simple to do in fairness. We kind of just flatten this, I think. I'm curious. Let's see what happens here. Let's just play with this in a test. We'll spike on this. So we'll just do, okay, so we know that it's not flattened. Let's do collect on actual and flatten this. Curious what that gives us. Whoa, it's not flattened. What is that when you unpack? Is it flat map? Yeah, you can't call flat map with nothing. I'm hearing some chit chat. Let's see what's up. Easy win, strip dashes. It's true. You could. I'm kind of curious though with the collection method. So let's just toy with this for a second. It really shouldn't be too bad to kind of unpack that array, if you will. You kind of have to go. You'd have to go deep down the tree though. And I don't think it's valid YAML. Let's just check one more thing. I don't think this is valid YAML, is it? Yeah, it's not. So you're, oh no, it is. Oh shit. Okay. So you can have dashes like all the way across the board. Oh, that's ugly. Let's see if anybody's done this before. Flatten YAML result. Flatten all? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I feel like flatten depth 1. Oh, I see. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's see what depth 1 does. No, see that killed models. I think flatten's a little too aggressive. It's like we would need to flatten at like the lowest level. Check the image I sent you. Don't know what you mean. Sorry about that. Okay. So let's just go look at Laravel. Let's spend like 5 to 10 minutes on this and see if we can get it. And if not, I'm just gonna strip the dash prefix because honestly, that's That's like the easiest approach. Um, let's see here. Okay, so Laravel collections. Let's go take a look. Let's just kind of browse through the available collections real quick and just see if there's what does collapse do? It's interesting. The collapse method collapse a collection of arrays into a single flat collection. Twitter DM. Adrian, just put the code in the freaking chat, man. I don't want to have to go through all this. All right, it may help convert. What is this? Hyphens? I don't know what this means. Sorry. Is that a reference to a collection method or? Okay. Let's try. I'm just curious what collapse does, like right off the bat. Let's just see. Collapse, and there's no bit. So what did that do? Kind of nothing. Let's dump actual so we can get like a comparison. Oh, okay. It collapsed the top level. I don't think any of these methods, I don't think any of these methods are gonna work like right off the bat. I think we could probably do something really nasty where like we, did like a depth or something to find what we needed and kind of do it at each level. But honestly, whoever said strip the dash is more on my wavelength. The simplest thing that can work. Like, why write a crazy, you know, collection? I'm sure there's a way to do it. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure, absolutely sure, there's a way to like, yeah, unwrap maybe. I feel like unwrap is probably in my mind like the closest thing. Let's just unwrap that top level and see if we get. Yeah, see, that brings models all the way through. So effectively what you would have to do is you would have to traverse the whole thing and unwrap it. That's effectively what you would do. So see how we got models back here? Let me bring, oh wait, no, unwrap. What does it take? Collection unwrap. Oh, okay, you got to pass at the collection. Sorry, that was a premature bit there. Let's do, I just want to see if unwrap does get us close. Collection unwrap actual. Let's bring that in. Illuminate sport collection. Yeah, okay, so models and control, well, they were never wrapped. Let's go back here and get this super nasty. There we go. Yeah, so see, even unwrap isn't really doing what I would expect it to do. So, yeah. Simplest thing I think is just going to be to strip the prefixing dashes. So let's do this. Let's just leave the crazy readme example email dashes. Let's do this. Let's say it parses YAML using dashed syntax into expected, or well, whatever. We don't need the into. We know it's going to work. Okay, and we're basically going to copy this, and we don't need all the different EOLs, so we'll trim this down just a bit. But what we want to do is take this definition instead. And then, yeah, I hear you. One sec. And then let's drop that out. Whoops. Yeah, let's drop that out. And let's parse the definition. And let's see if this passes. Oh, wait. There was no filter. Let's drop that. All right, so we get a failure. And top level, okay, cool. So this makes sense. We have a good failure here. Our top level is an array, which is what it's there, and it's all good. So I think this is a good failure. Let's go into parse and let's just do some more nastiness here. I mean, we're already kind of messing and normalizing stuff. So let's also do content equals preg replace anything at the beginning of the line that is, oh man, this is a little bit interesting. We want to strip the dashes at the beginning of the line, but we need to preserve the indentation level. So, um, we start the line with any kind of space and then a dash followed by any amount of space. If we find any of that on a multi-line, we would want to replace it. We replace it with basically the original bit of the spacing that we found. So, no, I'm not using fail. Let's just see if this works. All right, let's try that out. All right, closer. Still a little off though. Let's see what the array is we're getting back, because that seems interesting that store is missing for some reason. Maybe I just didn't copy the right test or fixture, or I accidentally deleted something. I'm not sure. So let's bar this off real quick, and we'll dump it, and we'll just see why that's off. Oh, it's not the README example. I streamlined it. My bad. Okay, let's actually get or well, you know what? We don't need to do the exact README example in fairness. So let's undo that. I think our parse worked. So let's cut this down a little bit. Let me bring this over and give me some extra room here. So we got post, title, long text, nullable. We can just cut some of these out. We don't need that many. And then let's keep some of store, and we'll just drop all the fanciness that we're doing. So let's keep some of that. So let me go get that README example YAML, and let's copy some of this back to here. Whoops. We need that store bit. And let's just throw in our spacing here. Save and redirect. Boom. We'll get rid of those. All right, that should be legit. And there we go. Boom. Awesome. Regex to the rescue. Merge recursive. Yeah, you're cool. Again, definitely could have done it with collections. I just think the simplest solution in this case was definitely to strip the prefixing slashes. Adrian, but what you will strip dashes? Yes, exactly. We want to strip. In fairness, the issue poster only prefix dashes on the column. Yeah, but we know that we can prefix dashes anywhere. It's valid YAML based on this little website that we're trusting. So why only fix this one tiny thing just to get another issue opened? I don't need that. And then yeah, fail. We probably could have done something really fancy with that fail bit. I think you had tweeted about that the other week, didn't you? Yeah, that was actually new to me. I think in one of the earlier live streams, somebody had put this in the code, and I've been writing regex for over 20 years. I'd actually never come across that. It seemed to be kind of a buried um, PCRE flavor of regex, syntax that's available. So that's pretty cool. Um, so yeah, I'm sure we could have used that, but I think this is fine. So at the beginning of the string, preserve any kind of indentation, and then if there's a dash followed by any amount of space, we're actually stripping that off and just replacing it with the original indentation to give us our nice key value paired array. Blueprint will never use dashes to prefix or never use the dash YAML syntax. So there we go. I think this is the best of both worlds. We don't even need the error message. So again, we kind of strayed a little bit from the issue, technically speaking. But this is the proper solution. Why make an error message when we can do even better and allow you to use the dash syntax if you want? Because if you want to type more code, that's on you. Cool. So let's do git checkout dash B. I'll open a proper PR just so we can get the quick close to demonstrate that. So let's do support dashed YAML syntax. Git add dash P. Let's just make sure we're all good. So we added our solution here. Single quotes, looks all good. Don't see any formatting issues. We don't need that collection bit anymore. That was me just playing around, so no. And then yes to the test. Okay, cool. So GST, git add test fixtures. The only thing that should be left is that import, which we no longer need. So git commit dash m. Let's see. Basically, just what we said. Add support for dashed YAML syntax. I don't even know what that's called. Git push origin head. Git reset dash dash hard. Git open. Come on, computer, catch up to me. There we go. Oops, pull request. Okay, and then what was that? That was this one, right? So that's issue number 25. So we'll say this allows you to use the dashed, I don't know, dashed YAML syntax when defining your draft files or when crafting. How about that? Drafting your draft files. Okay, cool. Anyway, sorry. I've been live streaming all morning. I'm getting a little loopy. So closes 251. That should be good. Okay, get out of my way. Create pull request. We'll make sure all those tests pass, but that should trigger that. So let's keep going. Cool. So that answers that. Moving right along. Basic example config incorrect. Post author not defined. Okay. Yeah, this is a good one. I'm glad somebody said this because you know what? I've actually complained about this before on Twitter. It's so annoying when you go to a package and they have an example and you download it and you install it and you use their example and it doesn't work. Terrible, terrible experience. So, let's fix this because I don't want that in my own projects. So let's let this merge. That way we have the latest work and we'll try to run this in a fresh project and kind of see what's going on. Cool. Did we pass yet? No, we did not. Okay, well this is going to take just a second, I think. All right, so let's close down some of this other stuff and get back. Let's do git checkout master. And you know what? Let's go over to confident Laravel and we'll actually run this on, I think I've got a demo branch. Yes, I do. Let's just git reset hard master. And let's do, I think I already have Blueprint installed, but I'm not sure. So let's just follow the README and get this kind of set up real quick. So we want to install that. And we want to do dev master. I think I can type that. Let's go ahead and let that run for a second. Get that installed. Almost there. I'm sure these will work, but let's just make sure Windows or Mac, these other environments weren't there. I really appreciate Nathan. He had actually set up some of this extra stuff, so that was really cool. Extra workflow on the additional platforms, so that was really cool. All right, one left. Needed a drink anyway. How's everybody doing? What do we got? We got about 12 people on here. Awesome. Appreciate you all showing up, especially those that were here earlier. Who was, just out of curiosity, let me know in the chat with a little thumbs up or something, how many of you all were also on the live stream earlier with Frake, or the one yesterday for that matter. Give me a peace sign if you were both, and then if you were earlier, just the thumbs up. All right, we're passing. So I'm gonna go ahead and squash merge this and I'll get this installed. Let's delete this branch And we should see, so this is 12, but when I click back to code, we should see that go down to 11. There we go. See, GitHub automatically closes it. Oh, don't have, oh, I'm not on Docker. That's okay though. That's okay. We can just bypass this temporarily. Ignore platform recs. All right, so now dev master should get picked up. Saw a piece of the one with Rake. Cool. Cool. Peace. Yeah, all right, on both. Awesome. Yesterday only. Yeah, yesterday was the good one. We had some good pairing yesterday. Okay, so this claims it picked up 87A, so I just want to make sure that is, so see, that is not the latest commit. So it looks like Composer was I went too quick. It picked up just before we did the dash GML syntax. So let me just run this one more time. I just want to make sure we have the absolute latest, although the dash syntax should not affect this. Okay, that's okay. It didn't pick up the latest. Looks like it's all just a bit behind. Um, why no alert, YouTube? Um, I don't know. I don't know why it didn't. Yeah. Well, he closed it because we actually, oddly enough, it did need to go to, he wanted it on master. They're no longer accepting any changes to the collections, apparently. So it was the correct thing maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, but now he said he wants, or they want, Laravel core team wants, any new collection changes to go to the master branch, which will be Laravel 8. So we'll still, we'll see. It might get in there, it might not. If it doesn't get in there, or even if it only gets in there for Laravel 8 from now until September, I'm sure Frake, with all of his 10 million packages, can get it added to his Misfit collection package that he was talking about earlier. Okay, so we are in a place now where let's run the demo. So I'm going to copy this. And let's do a pb paste draft.yaml. And then let's do the build command. So let's follow everything from the README. Now everything gets generated correctly, but I think what they are complaining about was that the test, I think the test is wrong. What were they saying was wrong? However, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, post test, okay, store saves and redirects. And you know what? I think there's a ticket open for this already. So let's run vendor bin PHP unit, just this test case. Okay, 500 store saves and okay, so we are getting the error that they had mentioned. Let me just open up Atom here real quick, just to, oh my gosh, Atom. There we go. Let me just open up Atom real quick, and we'll see what's actually going on here. Okay, so this, you know what? The more I look at this, this is actually not related necessarily to the other bug. This is actually a little bit weird. This should probably have author in it. See, I'm creating a post model of title, content, and published at, and then I'm claiming that I can, on the post model, call author, and it doesn't exist. So this is actually kind of a bad, it's kind of a bad example. It's actually kind of a bad example. I don't think technically this is a problem with Blueprint as much as it is the examples maybe just a little lacking. So let's go look at the test and see what we can do to make this prettier. Whoops, we're doing Atom. Let's bring that up. So the issue is in store saves and redirects, we attempt to verify has to author. It's actually really it's really impressive code generation. Sometimes it even makes me like, wow, it did that. That's pretty cool. Okay, so here's the fix. The simple fix is author, is string. Um, yeah, there's the fix right there. So let's do git. Well, I don't want to reset. Let's use blueprints erase command. Blueprint artisan blueprint. Blueprint. Erase. Oh, uh-oh. What'd I do? Connection refused. What's wrong with you? Oh. Again, I'm not on, that's actually my environment. But I do think someone mentioned this in another issue. I normally run things in a Docker environment, which has access to the database, but locally I don't. So it's trying to connect to something it doesn't have access to. And the erase command is running trace to try and regenerate your models. So that's why we're getting this error. So it actually erased though, it just didn't do the trace right. So let's just run all this again. I think it's in a fine place. There we go. And let's run our test again. And we get a failure, which is probably fine. Whoops, I'm still going back to PHP Storm. So we get a failure because why? Post controller test failed asserting that one. What's wrong here? Why can't you? Oh, is it not? Do we need to pass in author as well? I bet you that's what it is. All right, let's try this one more time, and then we're gonna pick the right solution. I got too many windows open. Sorry, folks. Okay, let's close that. Don't save. And I think the easiest thing to do is probably say nullable here. I think that's what the issue is. It's kind of ugly, but let's run this one more time. Run the test one more time. Still a failure. Is that because it's null now, I guess? Let's find out. Post controller test down here, and let's say without this, without exception handling. What's wrong with you? Get class expects parameter 1 to be an object, null given. Get class. Well, I'm not using that, so something underneath must be using it. I bet you it just doesn't like this. Oh, so annoying. And Faker doesn't know it's an email either, so that's why we're not getting something super awesome here. Hmm. Yeah, we're not even saving author anyway. So let's just prove this out real fast. Let's just prove this out. Let's do this. Let's say email. I'm just going to leave my code nasty so we can demonstrate. So we'll make a new faker email, and then let's drop in email. I just want to, again, leave my code unformatted so I can see what I did differently. All right, we're still broken. Get class expects parameter 1 to be an object. Null. How far is it getting? Dump. I really broke stuff here. Look at this. Dump here. Did I get there? No. So somewhere else it's really not liking what I added. Add a user model and link post to it. What am I doing with the user model? Why are we talking about the user? I don't know why we're talking about the user. There's nothing about the user in here. Did I miss something? I also didn't save my test. Get class expects parameter 1 to be an object, null given. Who the F is using get class? Yeah, this is failing like way higher up. Like, are we even getting into this? Yeah, we're getting into there. Let's see where it fails. We getting here? Whoops. Yep, we're getting there. And there. Just trying to figure out where. Yeah, okay. So it breaks inside post store somewhere. That's strange. Let's just make sure that's true. Yeah, it's breaking inside of the actual call somewhere. Okay, so post store. Oh, you know what? Oh my gosh. I think that is our issue. I think there's like 19 requested. Nope, that's not it. Just kidding. Well, either way, having 15 different routes defined probably was not helpful. All right, let's spend just another 5 minutes on this, and maybe I'll just come back to it because I'm not sure. That get class thing is just really, really weird. Um, okay, so let's check out post create. Post, we have author. Oh, shit. Sorry, guys. I called that, or folks, I called that email, not author. Still not an issue, though. All right, let's slow down and look at this one more time. Faker email, author's email. We're passing author in. It should not be null anymore. And our post controller allows it to be fillable. Or sorry, our post model allows it to be fillable. And we just create all, and our post store, I don't know where get class is coming from. That's like just so deep. Yeah, we don't even validate author, so that's fine. Yeah, email should be author, so we fixed that. Add a user model and link post to user. Oh, okay, that was from a minute ago. Yeah, I don't know why this is failing, to be honest. Something very strange popped up here, and I don't know what it is. Let's just do this. Let's go for broke. Git clean dash fd pb paste draft dot yaml. All right, we should be back. Don't save. Oh, come on. Adam, you're so terrible. All right, let's run blueprint build again. Fresh. I don't know. Maybe I had some weird state or something. I'm not sure. And then let's try to run just that test one more time. And we still get the 500. Let's go look and see if it's the same old message. And if it is, we're just going to move on to something else. And I'll come back to this because the quick fix was not a fix. All right, so let's do this without exception handling. All right, save it, run it. Okay, so we're back to this get class parameter 1 to be object null given. So let's just test this one last time. Testing. Just trying to figure out where this get class is. Get class. It's got to be one of these assertions, but it's failing like way higher up. Which code was generated? Oh, you know what? You know what? This is actually a new thing. I think, oh man. I think this is a little bit different. Does notification have a fake? Is that legit? Post controller. See, I think I meant for this to be mail send. I think the original, yeah, I think this might be it might be an unrelated but also related problem. Let's do this. Review email. Let's do that. And let's just go back to our fancy place. So I'm going to copy this again. Clean FD, git reset dash dash hard. Let's just go for broke. And then let's PB paste this again. And let's run the draft build again. And let's run the tests again. Okay, still a 500, but I'm thinking this is going to have a little, hopefully a little more to do. Ah, I'm using the PHP storm commands in Atom. I didn't think we'd be in here this long. Oops. Post controller test. All right, one last time. This without exception handling. Trying to get property email of non-object. Okay, that's more fair. uh, property email is a little bit interesting. Don't know why it said property email, but get status. It's got mail, review mail. That seems good. All right, let's just debug this just for a second. So post controller line 34 is where we're crapping out. So let's go here, line 34. Where is it saying email? Does review email have something weird in it? Trying to get property email of non-object. Maybe that's because this is null again. Okay, so let's fix that in our code by once again making this, and let's use the right names this time. Author is a fake email, and whoops, this needs to be author and author. There we go. Okay, so couple issues. Sorry, I know you all were chatting me, but I think I could see the way through. Okay, so there's two issues actually. One, it was kind of a bad README example from the very beginning because I was attempting in the draft file, let's just look at the real draft file. I was attempting this draft file to reference post.author, which was some kind of just simple string-based email address, and it's not even part of the model. So this was kind of an incomplete example anyways. I was trying to demonstrate, I think, quickly this sending of an email to someone and being able to reference stuff in dot notation, and it just was bad. So the right thing to do is probably to put author up here, or author email, and then or email or something like that, and make it a little more clear. Two, there was the other thing with the Git class that was weird is there was a recent PR that actually closed an issue where people were saying, "Oh, I want to be able to send a notification instead of a mail. I want to use mail, or sorry, I want to use notification, not mail." So we added that. I recently merged it. It's actually not tagged yet because it's incomplete. That's one of the reasons I haven't tagged Blueprint in the past week, is because of this. I didn't really get a chance to test it or to use it, and I wanted to add a notify here to be a little more explicit. So the convention is that if you have a class name that is suffixed with notification, it uses a notification and not a mail, which is why when I changed this in the draft file, let's bring up the draft file. That's why when I changed this to be email, we got back to the original problem, which was author was not set. So, long story short, I definitely need to update this README example to be a little more clear. So I think what I'm going to do is change this, but this is actually, there's no issue with Blueprint whatsoever, I don't think. I think the issue is entirely in how this behaves. So what I would like to do, it'd be really cool if we had like email here. I don't know tell me what you think about that, and if anybody's still in the chat. I might have lost some people with that tangent, but this is the last thing I want to fix anyway, so that would squash all open bugs, I think, except for the enum one, which is not something I'm going to tackle today. So, yeah. It'd be cool if there was a way to know that this was an email address, but I'm thinking if I just put string here, and we just do this dance one last time, let's copy that and close all this, and we'll clean it, and we'll reset it, and we'll paste it, and we'll build it, and we'll test it. So we're getting zeros, not one now. I wonder why. Let's just take a quick look. Post, I did it again. Post controller test. I just want to see if the setup here is correct. Yeah, it's not picking up email. Oh, because that makes sense, because the draft file, this would also need author. And this would be a good chance to use the shorthand, too, of post, validating the post. That would be cool. Okay, final dance. I swear. Clean FD. Get reset hard. Paste it. Build it. Test it. Boom, there we go. Okay, cool. So that demonstrates that it's all related to the having a proper README example. So I'll update that in the docs here in a little bit. That's not a big issue. I don't see anything wrong with Blueprint here. I do think, though, that it has demonstrated that there are some open PRs that are out there that maybe need a little more love to get them across the finish line. And there are also some things that were recently merged, in fairness, that haven't been tagged yet, that also need some documentation and some tweaking. So I think that's pretty good. Let's just go back and check. Otherwise, I'm going to shut it down here. So yeah, that would be the bug in the example, and then the next bug is the README file, and then we have this original bug that I actually have a branch floating out for somewhere that relates a little bit to what we kind of saw a minute ago, or at the very beginning with validation. So I think this is actually a pretty easy fix. I just never came back to it. So I might try to do that offline or next week if I don't get to it today. I try to use Thursdays for Blueprint and open source, but sometimes life gets in the way. Cool. Okay, so let's see here. What do we have from the chat? Just getting any final chat, and then I'm gonna go ahead and shut this down. The author is not a notifiable instance. Yeah, I think the new notification suffixing and making a notification and not a mailable definitely also broke the README example. Technically, that wasn't released yet, though, so that's kind of why it was a bit of a gotcha. That's why I asked to use the... Yes. Okay, sorry. I see what you all are saying now about user. It would be cooler if post referenced user, and we could go from there. So I like that idea. Let's close the draft file and bring up... So I like that. In fact, I really like that. Let's do this. Let's do user ID. Yeah, I like this. This because I really like this. Yeah, because this is going to demonstrate relationships too, which were not currently in the README example. So I think this is sweet. And now we can say post.user ID, right, or email. We could do this, and that even demonstrates the super chaining that's happening there. So that's really cool. I like it, and we actually don't have to pass anything in from here. Ooh, but how would we link up? How would we link up the user ID? That's tricky. How do we link that up in our test? Because post isn't just going to get a random user. We would have to link it somehow. Crap. Yeah, otherwise you'd have to pass in like this user ID, which is kind of gross. And right now we have no way to save auth. Or there's no auth or anything in post controller. So you'd kind of have to pass in user ID, but the tricky thing with user ID is, you actually have to generate a database record. And there's not gonna be one. Replace review email with review notification. No, I don't think that's something I want to do. Yeah, I really like this. So I'm gonna noodle on that. I'm gonna noodle on that off stream over lunch and think how I could get this to actually wire up correctly, because I think this is a much cleaner example, and I like that it's demonstrating some relationships. But this is not something Blueprint currently does, where it would like know to link that up in the post. Like it would know to set user ID in the post, but I don't think it's gonna actually make a record, in the database. Um, I'm not sure what fake data this would make. It might just work. So you know what? Let's just end on trying it, and we'll kind of see where we get. So let's just do the dance again of resetting and replaying. So let's clean it. Let's reset it. Let's paste it. Let's build it. Let's run it. And we did expect an error in fairness. Let's just kind of see what code it makes. Oh, not PHP Storm. Let's do, is my draft file correct though, first of all? Yeah, user ID, user ID. Okay, cool. So let's look at post controller test. And I just kind of want to see how this works. So yeah, see, you get faker random digit not null. So I think if Blueprint were really smart, it would have made a fake user here and then passed its user ID in. So that could be pretty cool. Again, if this could work. But I do think, in fairness, I do think our post controller it does behave correctly because it just allows you to assign all of it here. Does the model allow you though? Is that a fillable property? Yeah, it is a fillable property. Interesting. Yeah, cool. So I don't think this. Yeah, Brian, that is a good point, and that would be cool. I don't think this forces us down the authentication bit, but that is a cool area to think about with Blueprint. So if anybody has ideas there, feel free to send them in as an issue. So I think the main thing that would make this all work is if this was actually a fake. Like if we basically did factory, if Blueprint was smart enough to know that you're attempting to validate a user ID, which is a belongs to relationship field, and it has all this information. So if Blueprint used the information it had to generate this factory instead, and then reference it correctly down here, I think this would all just work. Yeah, look at that. Oh, well, of course it doesn't know what user ID is. App user. Undefined variable user ID. Where did I call that? Oh, where user ID. Do I do that anywhere else? I don't think so. Yeah, look at that. Okay, so basically it's a one-line change, but it is a Blueprint change. But this draft file could end up working, and I think this is pretty cool. So you basically store it. It doesn't do anything with authentication, but of course you can change your code pretty quickly to use that instead of send it in. And this would kind of do the right thing. Okay, so final comments, send them across. I'm gonna review them here. Using a factory costs. Yeah. Yeah, Yost, we're never gonna be on the same page there. Sorry, buddy. We're just, that's not the same thing. You're creating a factory to make, to make your test. I don't create a post factory for the test. I'm creating a user, which is a related object to the post, uh, based on the data that's being sent in. So it's different. The user relationship example brings with it a whole lot. Yeah, that would be cool, Brian. That would be cool. The auth. Can't you define this in the model in your YAML? Can't you define this? Adrian, what do you mean about defining it in the model in your YAML? If you would use factory up a post and post knows of user. Yeah, I get it. You could make a post factory, and if your factory created the user and yada yada, but we talked about it before, and just disagree. I think it's complex code, and I don't like my tests to be complex. I like them to be declarative, line for line, so I can see what's going on. Because when your tests get complex or weird, They're not you know they're not easy to maintain, and you don't want that because the whole point of the test is to help a project be maintainable. So anyway, Adrian, if you want to DM me, I'm gonna go ahead and shut this down. I'm hungry and ready for lunch. So I'll clean up this README example because yeah, I agree. That's super lame. So the two-factor thing there, that needs to be user, and that can no longer have the notification suffix. So I might just change this altogether to be like, send new post or something like that. Cool. Brian, I think he means defining the user relationship on the model. Defining the user relationship on the model. Yeah, I don't know. Not sure. Anyway, sounds good. Thanks you all for bearing with me. Got most of those bugs closed, so that's good. And again, I'll probably do this next week because we still see that there are a few more bugs in here. So see you all then. Have a good rest of the day. No more live streaming for me.